Well, hello there. And it's that time again. It's Halloween time. Ooh, spooky wookie. Yeah, we hope all you vampires and vampirellas are out there vamping away this weekend. It's the start of the weekend. It's Friday, the 29th of October of 2010. And here we are. I, Bob Decker, and my friend Marissa Cohen.
Hi.
Are shooting the blog that truly blazes. So without delay, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the 3 cards, and then my friend Marissa, who's an excellent talented astrologer, is going to share with you her astrological knowledge. So the first card is the last card of the previous week's reading. Now that card is the 5 of Swords. Kind of a yucky card. It's depicted, as you see in the picture, as 5 swords forming an upside down pentagram. So this is basically negative mental energy. It's Venus in Aquarius, which means possibly that our head and our hearts can be disconnected. So we may have felt discombobulated lately. We might have found ourselves slipping into negative thinking. You know, not a lot of fun. But it's getting better. We're coming into some much better energy right now. We're coming into something that's actually, I think, probably a perfect counteraction for that. And that would be the 8 of Discs, entitled Prudence. And that's attributed to the Sun in Virgo. So this is a very nurturing, loving, fertilizing energy. It's not getting rich quick, but it's grounding, it's practical, and it's slowly but surely building up the money tree. So if you've had financial concerns, if the finances have been banging around in here, that's going to calm down a bit, and you're going to start to feel like, hey, I'm more on track, I'm getting more control, I can pay attention to detail, I don't feel spacey, because that's the thing, 5 of Swords, it's kind of a spacey energy, and it can be kind of nasty. This is going to be much more pleasing, and you're going to see this coming in very shortly here, probably by the beginning of next week. And then by the end of the week, we're going to be really doing well. We got the 6 of Wands. And the 6 of Wands is Jupiter in Leo, an outstanding energy entitled Victory, which means we're going to be in really good balance. We're going to feel very, very positive, and we're going to be moving very, very strongly forward in our lives. So we got some good stuff to look forward to at the end of this week. And Marissa, my wonderful astrologer friend, is going to share some astrological knowledge now. Go right ahead, Marissa.
Okay, well, the really interesting thing, and this week we've decided to do something a little bit different and let Bob handle the tarot, and I decided this week I was going to go ahead and handle just straight astrology because we have so many things that are going on right now. We have 3 big planets in retrograde. Over the last couple of weeks, people who have watched our blog have seen me talk about Venus in retrograde and Venus in Scorpio in retrograde and all the things that that means, and that's still true because we're going to be in Venus in retro until about November 7th, so that puts it about next Sunday. But that's the first thing. So again, with Venus in retrograde, it's with especially Venus in Scorpio in retrograde, it's going to be a lot of questioning around romantic relationships or relationships of any kind, and it being Scorpio, a very, very intense psychological, emotional component to all of that. And as always in retrograde, we don't want to do anything, we just want to collect information. So around the 7th, we're going to be able to feel more confident moving ahead with knowledge as far as our relationship go. The other 2 planets that have been in retrograde and that are going to slide slowly out of retrograde over the next week or so are Neptune, which has been in retrograde since about mid-May. And that does a couple things. Neptune is ruled by Pisces, and so Neptune is the planet of dreams. It's the planet of things that are fantasy-driven, things that enable us to not really maybe always look at the reality of it. It enables us to get carried away in some of the dreams, and that's what Neptune does. It allows us to get a little carried away and to dream big. With Neptune in retrograde, what we've been feeling since probably about May and going into, ironically, ending the 7th as well, is a feeling of cracking denial. Any area of your life where you've sort of just spun pretty dreams around things and you've not really looked at the hard underpinning, it's going to show up, and it probably has been showing up over the last 5 months or so. So we're going to be ending that energy and coming out of that on the 7th. And the third planet that we're dealing with is Uranus, which Bob is very familiar with as an
Yeah.
Aquarius.
Yeah.
This rules this guy. And Uranus energy is very, very quick. Also, very psychologically astute, very aware, very able to walk into a room and just sort of download information, not really knowing where it comes from, but just getting stuff and getting it in a quick, logical way that sometimes takes us by surprise. That's what Uranus energy does. That too has been in retrograde from about July. That's going to be in retrograde a little bit longer, till about December or so. But all of that together says to me that we're heading out of, for the two of the three, out of some very, very intense energy that's really forced us to look at what we value, what matters, and where we're dreaming pretty dreams, and what's the reality of it. And those first two planets that I mentioned, Venus and Neptune, in retrograde have been forcing us to look at what's underneath things. So it's all about digging up what's not working and looking at what's really, really there. So we have some really powerful, powerful energy that we're staying into, especially over the Halloween weekend and going into like I said, for 2 out of 3, the 7th, and for Uranus until around December, but we're going to feel that. So really, really interesting. It's quite a big triple header.
Yeah, that is, isn't that, folks?
Right
That's really
big stuff.
That's really big stuff, which is why we're letting her do the astrology this way.
Thank you.
Okay, no, you're welcome.
And what's so funny is that over the past, I guess, 2 weeks or so, I've had personal friends and clients just calling me, going, "What's going on?" and I looked and went, "Oh, well, this is what's going on." Venus is in retrograde. We're going to go into Mercury in retrograde a little bit later in the month, but when things are in retrograde, everything flips. So we have to start looking at, we're doing the opposite of what those planets would usually be doing, and as always with retrograde, we're not acting, we're just collecting information and going with that. So, powerful stuff.
Indeed, yes indeed. And speaking of powerful things, how do they get a reading from you?
Well, you can go to happyganesh.com. As Bob mentioned on The Astrologer, I also do intuitive messages. I speak with the departed. I'm also a published writer and editor, so that's also something that I do, and very often things I incorporate into my sessions. I also do manifestation coaching and writing coaching as well. So if you're interested in any of those things, go to happyganesh.com and drop me a line. And also, on Monday, we're heading into the second week of my 4 Monday night astrology class. This upcoming Monday here at Modern Zen, we're going to be talking about Venus and Mars. And for more details, you can go to my website, which is, again, happyganesh.com.
Outstanding. Outstanding. And friends, to get a hold of me, because I do tarot readings, okay? I've been reading for about 25 years. And I also do hypnosis. I do past life regression and the whole clinical thing, helping people quit smoking, reduce their weight, overcome fears, motivation, all that stuff. Look at my website, www.bobdecker.net. Lots of stuff for you to look at, lots of free stuff, so do check it out. Yeah, lots of fun stuff. Lots of fun stuff. Well, listen, we hope you have a fun time this weekend. We hope it's safe for you, a blessing for you, and until we do see you again, many, many blessings.